Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the movie Smart House. This movie aired in 1999. It's rated TVG. It's an hour 22 long. It has 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb with about 6,300-ish user votes. It stars Katie Seagal, who was in Futurama, and Ryan Merriman, who was in Final Destination 3. It's directed by LeVar Burton, of all people, and he, of course, we know him from the Star Trek stuff. On Rotten Tomatoes, no critics numbers or anything, but there is an audience score of 53% with 2,500-ish user people. And the movie is available to stream on Disney Plus. It's available to rent and buy on Amazon. And it's also available to buy on Google Play and YouTube. And it was released on DVD in 2009, believe it or not. So, in case for people unaware, this is a TV movie from Disney Channel, kind of in the vein of, kind of like what I talked about earlier with Don't Look Under Bed and Luck of the Irish. Actually, in fact, the guy who, the lead in that movie is also the lead kid in this one as well. So, what's this movie about? The movie, basically what happens is, this kid, single dad, brother and sister. The brother's trying to, he's helping the family, helping them, get, managing because the mom recently passed, and not recently, but recent enough. Um, but he wins a contest for a smart house, and 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 then it goes from there. And then as the movie goes on, it kind of deals with themes of like, you know, kind of the commentary on technology, but more notice, and which is notable. But the more notable thing is grief when the loss of a parent. That really comes into play in this movie hugely, and trying to come to grips with it and trying to figure out how to cope with it. Um, it's there. It has. I mean, granted, is it handled super smoothly? There's some moments of like some '90s cheese that's kind of enjoyable. There's a little bit of that. And of course, it's a Disney movie. They can only take things so far, but a Disney Channel original movie, I mean, and they can only take things so far. But there's a couple scenes, at least, bare minimum. I think there's more where you can feel the raw emotion a little bit. Especially one was really good between the son and dad. Um, but yeah, it's just it, and that's kind of the gist of the movie is just kind of you know that and of that kind of parental loss and trying to come to grips with it. And the movie does a good job of exploring that, especially between the actors as they converse and share their feelings and go and argue and that kind of thing. It's done very well for the most part. I will say it doesn't it's not the whole movie though. There's a lot of the movies kind of like it's Disney Channel kind of thing. Now I will admit the Smart House stuff in it that they do in it, the special effects wise, it ranges from fine, solid, and then when it gets a little bit ambitious, oh, the cheese comes out. The cheese. Oh, and it's delicious. The 90s cheese of effects. And granted, it's still Disney, so you gotta give them a little credit for trying. And yeah, I mean, and it doesn't happen that often. I think and of course, Katie Seagal. I mean, her role in this movie is kind of as the AI of the house. And during the climax, there's a couple moments where it's a little some of the direction to how they handle her and how she interacts and does things with the house. I wouldn't say it's funny, just a little bizarre, and it would get a chuckle out of some people. But overall, the message is handled, I think, pretty well about the heartfulness of family and parents and coming to grips with the fact that Man, it's really solid in that area. I wouldn't mind if they went a little bit more with it, but fancy house stuff. We have to show that off. And granted, it's kind of fun. Even now, when I see that house, I'm like, that's actually pretty sweet. I wouldn't mind having that. And some of this stuff, you know, it's definitely something that I think does it hold up today. Well, for the most part, I think it does. I think the messages and the commentary could still land today. I just think when you watch it, you have to keep in mind that there is kind of a 90s lens in there. This isn't like a timeless movie by any means. There's a lot of 90s isms in this that kind of make it feel dated, but in a good way. There's bad dated where it holds the film back from being good, and then there's good dated where the dated just adds to the fun flavor of the film. It just kind of makes it a time capsule film. While it's still kind of in its time, is still well made enough to kind of make the datedness actually great. Um, now Now, if this movie was remade today, for example, would it still work? I think it would. For some reason, I think the effects would be worse because I think they just do everything with CGI. It wouldn't feel as impressive. Um, I think if they were gonna do something like this today, I wouldn't mind if they took they weren't as many jokes. I mean, I know it's a kids movie, but it's kids. Kids can be mature. Kids can handle tough shit. I mean, when I grew up, I remember watching some tough shit, and I was fine with it. I mean, kids don't always need the, all that shit. I mean, that shit isn't terrible, but kids can handle some of the more slower and mature stuff if it's presented the right way. And I think this movie was for the time. And I mean, if you show a kid this movie now, I don't, depending on what they've seen, I don't know how they'll respond to it. But but as a nostalgic trip, I think it holds up well. Some people may disagree based on like effects. The acting is good for the most part, but there's definitely a moment or two where it's definitely on the cheese. Which I don't mind. I love cheese, but it's definitely cheese is something that some people don't like. Because some people see it as bad acting or something. I don't necessarily see it as bad acting, at least not all the time. Sometimes I just think it's just the way it was directed and written. And a lot of times, sometimes it's done on purpose. I mean, in this case, I don't think it was. I just think it was just, it's a kid's movie. Um, but yeah, I do think this is a good movie. I think the issues with it, like I said, are just kind of cheese. The story, the story's well written enough, but I think it could have been tweaked a little bit. I wouldn't mind if the focus was more. And you know what? Now I think about for judging two commentaries on family and technology, it actually did a really good job on mixing them together. A really good job, actually. Now I think about it, because there's so many big budget movies that try to do that and they fail spectacularly. And this movie, I think, did a very good job at that. Um, at the end of the day, I guess if you're gonna see this movie, I guess just keep in mind that it's short. It's on Disney Plus. It's considered one of the better Disney Channel original movies, and for good reason. It it juggles those topics well. It's well performed. The guy who plays the dad, I've actually seen before. I think Home Alone 3, and I always thought he was a cool actor, but you don't really see him in a lot of stuff, which is weird because I always thought that he should have been in more stuff. He's good in this too. They're all the acting's good in this. They definitely and LeVar Burton as a director. I mean, I will say this movie is better than it probably had every right to be. And I think a lot of that is due that people saw it, work on this, decided to give a shit and try to do something with it. Now, granted, 90 shoots, like I said before, but I don't think it really holds the film back. And to be honest, sometimes when movies are remade with a current lens, they make them very bland, and it just ends up boring and forgettable. Sometimes that lens of a specific time period really kind of elevates like the flavor of the film and kind of makes it stand out and makes it more memorable and sometimes better. And yeah, more than not better, kind of. But yeah. I don't think there's anything else. It is available on DVD technically, but I have never seen a copy of it. In all honesty, you're better off just getting Disney Plus. To be honest, even if you just get it for the one movie, you just probably, I think you get the first month free or whatever. I don't know. Even if you don't, it doesn't cost that much. Probably costs about the same just to get the DVD. So you might as well just get Disney Plus and then watch that. And if you feel like it, sneak some other stuff and whatever. But yeah, I think it's a solid movie. I definitely recommend it. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. In case you want to chat with me, Mike, or anyone else at the Campy Company, and you don't want to use the YouTube comment section, we do have a couple options. The first is we have a Discord channel. You can find the link to that in the About page / About section of our channel. We also have a discussion tab in our channel as well. And you can find that, but you can only find it on a PC or a laptop computer on our channel. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the videos, and have a good day.